Greetings and welcome to Investor Web, the channel that simplifies complex financial concepts. We're your go-to resource for understanding the ins and outs of the financial world, whether you're a seasoned investor or just someone curious about how money works. We're thrilled to have you here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're always in the know when we drop a new video. Today we're shedding light on a topic that touches every corner of the global economy: money laundering. This intricate process is not just a concern for high-stake investors or financial wizards. It's a part of our world that impacts us all, from the stability of our economies to the integrity of our financial institutions. Understanding how money laundering works is a step towards a more informed and resilient society. Now, buckle up as we demystify the complex world of money laundering. To comprehend money laundering first, we need to understand what it is. In the simplest terms, money laundering is a process where the origins of large amounts of money generated by criminal activity are hidden. The goal is to make it seem as though the money came from legitimate sources. It's a bit like magic, but far from entertaining, and let's be clear, it's entirely illegal. Imagine you've got a mountain of cash, but you can't spend it because it's tied to some not-so-legal activities. You need to make it look like it came from a legal source. That's where money laundering comes in. It's a way to clean the money, to wash away its dirty origins. But don't be fooled, this isn't a victimless crime. It feeds into and supports a vast network of illegal activities, from drug trafficking to organized crime and even terrorism. Now that we have a basic understanding of what money laundering is, let's delve into how it actually works. Money laundering is not a one-step process. It involves three main stages: placement, layering, and integration. Let's start with placement. This is the initial stage where the illicit money enters the legitimate financial system. It's like introducing the dirty money into a clean environment. This could be as simple as depositing large amounts of cash into a bank account, or as complex as purchasing valuable assets with the illegal funds. But the goal remains the same: to get the illicit money into the system without raising any red flags. Next, we move on to layering. Now that the dirty money is in the system, it's time to make its origins as hard to trace as possible. Think of it as a game of hide and seek, with the launderers trying to hide the money and law enforcement trying to seek its source. The launderers might move the money around, make numerous transactions, purchase and sell assets, all in an effort to create a complex web of transactions that obscure the money's illegal origins. Lastly, we have integration. This is where the laundered money, now seemingly clean, is returned to the criminal. It's reintegrated into the legitimate economy, often appearing as legal earnings from a legitimate source. This could be through the sale of a property purchased with the laundered money, or dividends from investments made with it. The trick here is to make it seem as though the money was always legitimate. Each stage plays a crucial role in the laundering process. Placement gets the money into the system, layering obfuscates its origins, and integration makes it appear legitimate. It's a clever, albeit illegal, process that allows criminals to enjoy their illicit gains without fear of the law. But it's not as simple as it sounds. Launderers must navigate a labyrinth of financial regulations and watchdogs, constantly adapting their strategies to avoid detection. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation, and the stakes are incredibly high. These stages form the backbone of any money laundering operation. But how do these stages play out in real-world scenarios? To better understand these stages, examine a few real-world examples. Let's transport ourselves to the hustle and bustle of a busy city. In the heart of the city, there is a bustling chain of laundromats, seemingly innocuous, washing the city's dirty laundry. But beneath this facade, the laundromats serve a much darker purpose. The owner, we'll call him Mr. Smith, uses them to cleanse his ill-gotten gains from a covert smuggling operation. This is the placement stage. He deposits the money from his illegal activities into the laundromat's cash flows, mixing it with the legitimate earnings. Now let's hop on a plane to the sunny shores of a tropical tax haven. Mr. Smith, not content with just mixing his dirty money with his clean, decides to layer his activities. He sets up a series of shell companies, each one owning the next, creating a complicated web that makes tracing the original source of the money incredibly difficult. This is the layering stage. The money is moved around between accounts and companies and across borders, obfuscating its origins. Finally, we find ourselves back in the same city, but this time at a high-end art auction. A painting is sold for an astronomical sum. The buyer, one of Mr. Smith's shell companies. The money used to purchase the painting came from the complex web of transactions we saw earlier. Now it appears as a legitimate asset. The painting. This is the integration stage. The laundered money is brought back into the legitimate economy, making it much harder to link it back to its criminal origins. But not all money laundering is so complex. Consider the case of a small-time drug dealer, let's call him Mr. Jones. He doesn't have the resources or the network to use sophisticated methods like Mr. Smith. Instead, he uses smurfing. He asks a group of individuals, his smurfs, to deposit small amounts of his illicit money into their bank accounts, amounts too small to raise suspicion. They then withdraw the money and give it back to Mr. Jones, who now has money that appears to come from legitimate sources. In both these cases, the stages of money laundering are clear. Mr. Smith used his laundromats to place his dirty money, layered it through his network of shell companies, and integrated it back into the economy through the purchase of a painting. Mr. Jones, on the other hand, used smurfing to place his money, layer it by moving it through various accounts, and integrate it by having it withdrawn as seemingly clean money. Through these examples, we see the clever yet illegal tactics used to launder money, but what happens if someone gets caught? Money laundering is not a risk-free endeavor. The penalties can be severe. Let's take a moment to consider the repercussions associated with such illicit activities. The consequences of money laundering are far-reaching, impacting not only the individuals directly involved, but also society at large. For the criminals themselves, the legal implications can be serious. In many countries, money laundering is a crime punishable by law. The penalties vary depending on the jurisdiction, but they can be quite severe. In the United States, for instance, the maximum penalty for money laundering is a hefty fine of up to $500,000 and a prison sentence of up to 20 years. In the UK, the maximum punishment is 14 years in prison and an unlimited fine. Now, consider the financial consequences. The profits from money laundering might be alluring, but the costs are high. Legal fees, fines, and asset forfeiture can quickly empty the coffers of even the most successful criminal enterprises. Furthermore, once a person is convicted, their financial future can be severely compromised. They might struggle to secure loans or find employment, and their reputation could be irreparably damaged. Beyond the individual, the effects of money laundering ripple out to society. It can destabilize economies, inflate property prices, and even fuel political corruption. It erodes trust in financial institutions and can lead to economic inequality. So while the process of money laundering might seem clever, the risks and potential penalties are certainly not worth it. The allure of quick illicit gains is overshadowed by the harsh reality of legal consequences, financial ruin, and societal harm. Always remember, the best approach is to earn money honestly and invest wisely. The path to financial success is built on integrity, not deception. In the end, the real cost of money laundering isn't measured in dollars and cents, but in the damage it can do to lives, communities, and economies. So, while the process of money laundering might seem clever, the risks and potential penalties are certainly not worth it. Today, we've taken a journey into the shadowy world of money laundering. We've unmasked this clandestine operation, starting with its definition. The process of making large amounts of money generated by criminal activity appear to have come from a legitimate source. We delved into the 3 stages of this process: placement, layering, and integration, each with its own unique set of tactics and strategies. We also highlighted some real-world examples to bring to life these concepts, showcasing the breadth and depth of this global issue. Lastly, we discussed the potential consequences, including severe penalties, reputational damage, and the destabilizing effect on economies. This information is not merely academic, it's a tool for understanding prevention and action. Thank you for joining InvestorWeb today. If you found this information valuable, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next enlightening video. Until next time, stay savvy, investors.